I'm about to sharpen this Kenchii Scorpion Curved Shear that's serrated on one side and it's not cutting hair. And I'll let you see. On Groomer shears, I'm cutting with a kind of a fur, fake fur. And if you'll notice, it just flips the hair. Cuts in the back, and the tip flips the hair. A lot of sharpeners have problems with this. I'm going to be using the Cymek Junior, and I'm going to be using the Curve Adapter. So let's get started. So I'm Bonnie Megowan. I'm a professional sharpener. Been sharpening for over 30 years. And have not been sharpening curved shears from day one because I started out only with the hair salons. And at that time, only groomers and some of the African-American barbershops used curved shears. So I really didn't see too many of these. And then as time went on, I had to sharpen these, and we found they were quite difficult. And my granddaughter helped with creating this curve adapter, which helps me with the curved shears. And then we also have a device called the Archone, which I have in here. Mine's broken. It's normally this long for doing the inside. Let's get this prepared to sharpen. Now, the curve adapter allows me to use whatever grit. And I'm thinking on these, I'm looking at them, I'm looking at these. They're not really nicked up, a little bit of nicks. They're just dull. And I want to, I think an 800 grit. These go on like Velcro. They like this and pulls off. And I'm going to cut one out to replace on here. So I'll just kind of show you this. I used the one I've already got. 800, if you bought a curve adapter, it comes already with an 800 grit. Because that's like my favorite. So if it's my favorite, it ought to be your favorite. Probably ought to do a video on my loves for Valentine's Day. Like 800 grit is my favorite, but I kind of cheat with the 600 and the 400 and some of the other grits. The 2000 grit is my favorite for doing the inside work, but I'll often cheat and go to the 1000 grit. We can be a little fickle when it comes to sharpening, try different things. That's not always a good thing in marriage and relationships. Speaking of that, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. If you're a sharpener, keep up with us, because for my husband's and mine, he works with us too. For our anniversary, we are going to have a sharpener's jam and take it on the road. I think we're going to do, on our anniversary dates, go to maybe Jamaica or Aruba or someplace fun to have a sharpening convention. I can't tell you how many of our anniversaries we've had with a sharpening convention. But it'll be 50 years in 2025. So we're already planning now to do something great for our anniversary. And also for the sharpeners. So I'm cutting this out with a pair of cheap scissors. So once again, talking about my loves. I love the Cymek HD. That's my first love, but this is my secondary love, is the small Cymek Junior. It's smaller, lightweight. It'll do the same quality of work. You'll see that today. But it's a little more portable because it's lighter. And I have like the weakest arms and hands in the world. Okay, now see, I've got that on here. So back to my shear. So we've tested it. We know that it cuts from here to here. We know that one side is serrated. Let me show you what serration is if this is all new to you. We're going to zoom in here. So can you see the little tiny teeth that are in here? This is the factory edge on it. This is not something someone has put on later. we can see by its perfection, the tiny teeth. This side here does not have the teeth. I'm going to sharpen only this side. I'm going to leave the serration alone. Now I know some sharpeners, they automatically take the serration off on all these grooming shears. I think that's causing more work, and it's not creating the shear as it was intended to be. It's pretty arrogant if you decide that they're better off without the serration, without talking to the customer. So I'm going to take it apart and work the rod line. Kenchii shears, we know them from way, way back, even before there was a Kenchii. And the people that started the business actually came to me for sharpening training back in the day. That's been a long time ago. They've done really well, and they especially have some of the most well-known shears amongst Groomer. So when I talk about working the rod line, what we're talking about is there's a little shiny line on the inside. I'm just going to kind of clean it up with my stone here, but I'm not going to do a whole lot to it. It's good to have your this is the Archone, have it wet. I probably ought to have a cup of water and just dunk it in. But I'll have to get up and walk to the other side of the building here. And Kayla, my part-time assistant, is not here yet. Otherwise, I'd have her do it. Kayla flattens my stone for me. She comes in today. I'll let you meet her. So I'm not going to color in the serrated side. It's going to be too hard to get that red off. And this, each time I have to really look at it and feel like it's hard to tell because it's very fine serrations. If you had to take that serration off, let's say it was nicked up or whatever, you tell the customer, hey, I'm going to take the serrations off, and when I do, they're going to be smoother, quieter, sharper, which is absolute truth. If they say, no, I want my serrations on there, and they're all upset, then we have a serration file that we sell on our website, and I'll try to put the link in here that you can put the serrations back on, but they will never look as pretty and as pristine as what you get from the factory. Now I'm working this along here, not much pressure at all. Basically it's the weight of this stone on the blade and trying to basically sort of clean up that ride line. If the ride line was gone, I'd have to do extra work on it. And I also want to go in with the flat side in this area. And you see how if you break your Archone like I did, it still works fine. This one is the 3000 grit. We also have a 1000 grit. So, I've done the inside. Now I'm going to go to the machine. So why do we need the curve adapter? If I had a flat plate and I came in here, do you see how that tip touches there and here and not in the middle? I would mess up that tip. The curve adapter, what it does, and this will fit any flat hung machine. Now, the ones with the plate on it, and I get the leftover stuff. You see mine, the glue is all gobbed up, so it may be a little crookedy. But the ones with the metal plate on them will only fit the ones that have the peg the same size. If you have a different flat hung machine, you can get the curve adapter without the metal plate, or you can drill the hole bigger in your metal plate. I have some people have done that too. And then I'm using, this is that E6000 glue to glue it down. But I did a really sloppy job on this. So you're going to see mine going a little bit crooked. Yours hopefully won't be crookedy. But with that curve adapter, now when I come in here, there's a place for that tip to go. Next thing you need to know is I'm going to use my clamp to figure out what the angle is. And I'm going to kind of guess. The way this clamp works is you line up your numbers here And then you want this backed out. Screw this down and then tighten the nut. So I'm at 40. That's probably would be my go-to angle on this, 40 or 35. Dog grooming shears typically aren't as sharp or don't need to be as sharp as maybe some of the hairstylist ones. So I'm going to do the scratch test, which I have this all the way down. And I'm only going to work on scratching this area up here, not worrying down there. And that looks like it's on the money. So I'm thinking that's the right angle. However, if I brought it all the way down using this clamp and I did a scratch test here at the tip, you're going to see I'm not at the edge. So that angle will change as it goes across. So either I can stay with the clamp and know that the angle at the tip is going to be sharper, or I might work here and then freehand to do the rest of it, which is what I'm actually going to do. Now on my Simek Junior, I've got an older one and it says forward and reverse. The new ones will say left and right, so left or right-handed shears. My brother-in-law got one of these and he was like, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'm plugged in. Oh, yeah, I wasn't plugged in good. You see how it's wobbling? That's because I glued this on crookedy. I usually will always keep it this way for right-handed shears so I don't get mixed up, and I'll keep the power on, and I'll turn it on and off with the little dial, the speed control dial. So I said my brother-in-law got one of these and he was like, it doesn't work, and then he's like, I'm stupid. He says, I forgot to turn the speed up. My brother-in-law has the HD, but he wanted a lighter one because he now is in a senior citizen community and he actually goes out sharpening on his motorized bicycle, which I think is a hoot. A lot of people stay with this business sharpening for the salons until they're in their 70s and 80s because it's really an easy business. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going fairly slow because I can do that. And I'm looking for a burr as I come across. I'm not really trying to convex it. But when I get here, you see, this is where the blade's curving. I'm going to just plop this out, try to stay with that same angle, and I'm curving it around freehand. Now some of you can't freehand, it's just beyond your skill level. And it was for me in the early days. But I think that looks pretty good. I've got a burr all the way down. Let me let you look at it. Just that one pass. You see? That red's gone. The tip, there's still a little red at the tip, but right on the edge it's gone. So I'm going back to my Archone. And I'm knocking that burr off gently. I don't want to overdo it. And then I might want to go back and very gently, or even go to a finer grit, which I think I have a finer grit here that I've already cut. Yeah, here we go. I'm not sure what this is. This may be an 800 too, but just a worn 800. I don't know. But it's definitely like a very slick. Put that on there. I like the fact that I can change the grit on here. I could even polish it if I really wanted to. I used to have a polishing pad around here that I'd cut to fit. trying to follow that same angle, and I'm curving it around. You see that? Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. So now I've got a little tinier, smaller burr to the inside, but I'm just going to cut that off. It's just the easier, faster way rather than keep pushing it from one side to the other and maybe change that angle. So let's put it back together. Always watch how you took it apart. This one had 2 washers. Now you never know whether it's supposed to have 2 washers or the last person didn't see the washer and put another washer in there. But I rather suspect it's supposed to have 2 washers. You'll see them all kinds of different ways. Oh, let's clean the red marker off. If I don't clean the marker off, it looks like blood in there, which isn't good. I don't want them to think it's blood on here. That's one of the reasons that I changed from using a Sharpie to using the edge marker, because this wipes off a little easier. You used to have to struggle getting the Sharpie off. See, there's still red on the outside. You see that? Some shears are just harder to clean up than others. I don't know. Maybe something to do with the type of metal? Don't know. If you're an expert on that, I'm always looking for comments. Comments on things maybe I didn't know that you can kind of add to my knowledge. Also comments about things you would like to see me do. I try to post something every Monday and Wednesday. I've been doing some shorts and things, and Wednesday I've got so many videos because I just like shooting these. It's boring to come in here and just sharpen by myself without talking to somebody, and I like talking to you. So, but if you've got comments and things you'd like to see me shoot a video on, or questions, I read all the comments. Now, I'm reaching over here to get a paper towel. And this first one, I'm not testing, I'm going to cut. And I'm going to cut paper towel. I have people that criticize me for putting so much on video and not, you know, because you're not paying for it. But you really can watch and watch and watch these videos, but it's so different than being trained in person. So you really, it's, but when I do train in person, if you've been watching my videos, it's so much easier for you and me both. And your success rate's better. Okay, so now what I just did is, this is some tissue I had left over. I've wet it, and I'm going to cut with it with very little pressure. You see that tip still not great. I have a suspicion here. Let's see, is it still folding? Remember how it folded before? Has a little tendency to fold. My go-to first step, if things don't cut right, is the nail buffer. We sell these, but you can get them at a beauty supply, but this one is 3000 grit, which is finer than this stone here. So I'm going to go over the inside going toward the edge. And that way, if there's, and with it being curved, you know, flexible, I can follow that curve. And then I'm going on the outside on both the serrated and the one I sharpened. And this will smooth it out and take out any residual burr that I might have left behind. Actually, a microfiber cloth is good for you to check and see. Okay, let me get some more tissue here. So, toilet tissue. Wet, thumb out, right there at the tip. You see there? Nail buffer again. Always do the least first. See if that made any difference. Nope. Let's see how it cuts fur. It's cutting the fur. It just didn't cut the wet tissue. Ah, you see how it folded? It folded. So, here's my trick. So I know I've got the edge, but it's still not cutting. I'm going to assume it's a little bit out of alignment. Curved shears are notorious about being out of alignment. What I'm looking at is, if I hold the shears like it's a frowny face, and it's the blade on the bottom, I want to bend that blade up to touch this blade, right about in here. Now what am I bending it with? I'm not crazy about either one of these, but we do sell them both, and I guess it's the best out there. This is some kind of a plastic type of thing with the slots in it. This one is aluminum. I would only use the wider slots. Either one will work, but I'm going to, you see I'm coming in here and I'm bending it so that blade goes closer to this blade. And you want to kind of move it a little bit, not bend it in the same place. And I have a very weak hand, so it's not bending much at all. Don't go crazy over this. This one has the tendency, it could leave some marks on it. And this one would be easier to break it, but it's easier to bend it. So I'm going to close it gently, pushing the blades apart in case I created some kind of a crazy burr in there or nick in there, which I didn't. Let's see if that little bit makes a difference on this fur. And we sell these little fur strips too, but you can get these someplace else too. All right, so far so good. Thumb out, little pressure. Still flipping. See that? Let's bend it a little bit more. And it's good if you do this, wear glasses, because I mean, there is a chance that you could break the blade, and that is a chance that could go flying into your face. I think I got it. Okay, thumb out, little pressure, crisp. Ah, see that? A little bit more bending. That's about as close as I want to get to the tip. I was bending right here. I can hear a difference in the sound too, like those blades are touching. I have to get some more fur. Okay, I think that's got it. There we go. A lot of you are afraid of bending. I'm afraid of bending. It terrifies me. But on these curved shears, sometimes that's the only way you can fix them. And because these shears are made straight and then bent, I've only once ever heard or seen anybody break a curved shears in bending it. And it was somebody that was here, and she was not using this tool. She was using a vise that was attached to my table and with a slit, and kept at it and right at the tip. And I wasn't watching her. She was over there playing while I was training somebody else. So that's the only time I've seen one of these break. So I think you're pretty safe, you may want to still ask the customer. This was a mail order shear, but on my form that I send out to them, I have them check whether it's okay for me to tweak it. And so far, knock on wood, where's some wood around here? Knock on wood, here we go. Knock on wood, cross my fingers. So far, I haven't broken one of these mail order shears. I've broken some shears that came in the door. But if you got curved shears, this is the only way I know to make them cut. Hey y'all, I hope you're staying sharp. This is Bonnie Megowan, your red-headed sharpener here. And if you like this video, I try to post something every Monday. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you'd like to see more videos like this. If you're looking for the tools I used in this video, there's some product links and things in the description, and also you can go to the website www.bonika.com. If you've got questions or you want to connect with me personally, you can always put a comment below, but I've got a lot more links in the description below that will show you how to get in touch with me. I teach in person and online, as well as, of course, these YouTube videos. And let's connect, let's learn more about sharpening together.